Welcome back to a brand new episode of Star Trek New Worlds, Episode 3, as we go through this review and recap of today's episode. And this is Terrell, Round the Geek, giving you this brand new episode of Star Trek New Worlds, Ghosts of Illyria. This episode, we'll go ahead and give you this tag or this description of the episode. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Una must confront a secret she's been hiding when a contagion ravages the ship, incapacitating the rest of the crew. Now, this was a phenomenal episode. This was a fun episode, and this is what Star Trek should be. As I say this is as I get into another episode of the show, and like I said, like this is it's just fun. Like it's not like, I don't want to say serious as like what's the show? Discovery doesn't feel serious, like serious, but there's a lot of moments where it's just like, of course, it's like, in war and everything like that, but it feels serious like the whole time. Anyway, we're here to talk about this episode. We come into the episode, and they're talking about genetic modification and how it's a big Starfleet no, we don't do that. And all of the things that's been outlawed, because of genetic modification, and everything that comes with it. We come into the crew, they're on the planet, they come there to get what they're gonna get from there, and now it's time to go. They can't leave because there's an ion storm, unfortunately, and everybody knows an ion storm is gonna block you from transporting back to where you need to go. It can't transport you up to the ship. They're able to reroute the power from the warp core to pull them back up to the ship, like get the signal so they can pull back up to the ship. Everybody gets warped back except for Spock and Pike, who, of course, number one, Una winds up being in control of the ship, and in the process of this, she realizes that they have brought back some form of a contagion that is feeding on light, and everybody is now addicted to light. I really like these episodes that they're, I feel like every Star Trek, like there's always some type of like viral outbreak or something like that on the ship, and it's like a time crunch. Like they have to figure out how they're gonna cure everybody within within the 45 minutes of the episode, and save the day. But this particular one, we see that everybody is like weirdly like turn off the lights, illuminate everything, and everybody's like they're not absorbing the light, but they're like, I guess the feeling that it gives them from the light, they feel really good about it. This is really ridiculous. Like everybody gets affected like very quickly, except Uhura, who winds up, they found out that to pretty much stop it, that they need to pretty much turn off all the lights on the ship, which I think that would be like the easiest solution, right? I also want to point out, like, man, we get a black doctor in Starfleet. I'm not to say that we probably haven't gotten this before, but I think we get a black Nigerian doctor in Starfleet who is on the flagship vessel, the Enterprise. That's a big thing. I really want people to think about that. It's a big thing. We get a black doctor, Nigerian doctor on the Enterprise. Of course, Una, she has her moment that they show where she turns into to Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, for a second, and we found out that for whatever reason, like she's immune to whatever this virus is that's going around that has affected everybody but her. And of course, everybody winds up, having to go to sick bay. Everybody that was in the landing party goes to sick bay, and then they try to figure out what's going on with the virus. In the meantime, we cut back to Spock and Kirk. I'm not to say Kirk, Pike, who are trying to figure out what the mystery was behind, whatever the hell happened, what was going on the planet, and what happened to the people, because they were dealing with the whole genetic modification thing. And what the next step is, because they now have to wait out this ion storm for them to be able to get back onto the ship. Of course, the contagion just rapidly gets out of hand, and now we have to do a complete level 5 lockdown, which I always like to see. You see a level 5 lockdown, everybody can find the quarters, and everybody's losing their freaking minds because they need this light. They need light source to, they're addicted to the light now because of whatever this virus is that was spread to them from the planet. Um, we then find out in the process of all this that Una is Illyrian, and this is the reason why she is immune to this whatever this virus is. Her cells are literally burning through the virus before it can affect her. And like I said, we talk about how big this genetic modification is a big no-no. And she pretty much lied, and you would think that Starfleet would blood test her or something like that to find out this before she, did that, because for the most part, everybody appears to be human. And then we found out I can't think of her name, this head of security, she was also, dealing with genetic modification. And I think this is where they name drop Khan here for a second, who we all know famously from, previous episodes in the movie, Wrath of Khan, and, so on and so on. Apparently, that was her ancestor here. And so we get a little tidbit of that early on in the episode. It's pretty cool. So, they go on about how he's Illyrian. Really funny how she goes to like the warp room, and she is able to pick up a grown man and just throw her over her shoulders. Now, you really look at this episode, clearly you could tell that's not him, but of course, the magic of television, we just got to ignore the fact that this is clearly a doll that's dripped over her shoulders, and it's not supposed to be as obvious. And of course, like we cut back to Spock, and we cut back to Pike, and they're looking out the window where it appears to be like these like light dragons that are flying around outside and trying to get into where they are. And of course, Spock, being the person that he is, he has to put on his science cap and figure out why they are trying to either attack them or what the source of the nature is, because he kind of like not reverse engineer, but like just figures out the whole situation of like what happened. He finds out that these people, the things that are flying around were the people that were on the planet. After genetically modifying themselves, they became whatever these creatures are. And we found out that the whole time they were trying to warn them from whatever the situation is. Really get into after we figure out what the cure is, and Una and her head of security have a little whole little brawl in the warp core room, and she literally just knocks her out. And then we find out, because early in the episode we found out that they can't synthesize a cure from Una's blood because it's burning out so quick that they would not be able to do it. But because of the situation in the warp core and the radiation, they're able to synthesize a cure through what they call chimera infection or whatever it is. That they were able to come up with the solution to an episode. Of course, by the end of this, like she wants to resign and give her badge to Starfleet. And of course, Pike, being who he is like, F them Starfleet rules. We gonna go ahead and do what we're gonna do. You saved a bunch of lives. I'm not really worried about that right now. Your genetic background does not matter to me. Which is pretty cool, because like for the most part, you got a bunch of aliens and stuff on your ship. What does one modified human really, or what Illyrian really freaking matter at this point, right? And then we get into the whole reason why this light infection even got in there in the first place is because the doctor is using a transporter that was not supposed to even be on the ship in the first place to somehow hold his daughter in a stasis that keeps her young enough so that they can figure out a cure for the disease that she has. Now that feels like a real Mr. Freeze thing, right? Keep her frozen until we figure out the cure. And of course she, Una's like real lenient with him, because what can you say now? Because you know a lot about, your background. She's real lenient about him and them diverting power to his transporter so that they can figure out a cure for his daughter, which, is a pretty sad story, and then they cut to his daughter and he's reading her book. So hopefully they do resolve that, obviously, because obviously we know that this Enterprise crew changes, future tenses before we get to the whole Kirk saga. So I wonder that hopefully we do get some resolution to that story at some point. because in the background, all you can think about is like, oh man, this guy has his daughter on board the ship looking for a cure. So hopefully they do get that at some point. But like I said, this is a really fun episode. Every episode so far, I've really enjoyed. I'm really enjoying these excursions off the ship, and seeing them not kind of hard focus on Pike's pending doom, because we know what's going to happen to him. But I wonder if this is going to do what Star Trek the movie did and just kind of do a time, what was it called, a paradox to the story, and just kind of create an alternate timeline, which I think was pretty cool. So I don't think they're going to try to lean too far from it, but nothing too predictable, too obvious. But like I said, this is a pretty good episode. If you guys haven't checked this out, again, if you don't have Paramount Plus, this is another reason to do so. Watch Discovery, watch Strange New Worlds, watch all the Star Trek content you can, so we can get more and we can get this stuff. But like I said, it's been really good. Check out episode 3 of Strange New Worlds, Ghosts of Illyria. You will not be disappointed. If I have not given away the entire plot at this point, again, this was a review recap of the episode, so there was going to be a spoiler. Too late, you missed out. But again, this was episode 3 of Strange New Worlds. Thank you for watching this review. See you guys for episode 4. See you.